Well, good Wednesday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here on Facebook Live tonight, as well as on the weather page of KTLnews.com with a live update on the prospects of severe weather across the Arklatex tonight, as well as possibly tomorrow night. We're looking at another round of potential severe weather. It does appear that if, and the way it's looking right now, that is a big if, we see any severe weather, wind and hail likely will be our main issues, as has been the case for the past couple of days. We did see one official touchdown of a weather service confirming an EF2 tornado north of Atlanta there along US 59 near Domino, with some wind damage there from that touchdown. We had other widespread reports of wind damage as well as large hail again today across a good chunk of the area. In fact, before I get into it, let's go ahead and show you. This is the past 18 hours of storm reports, and you can see these blue icons. Those are hail reports, and we did see, I think the biggest I've seen is baseball-sized hail, and of course the numerous wind issues which have caused some power outages across the area. I haven't looked at this in the last couple of hours, so look at the power outage numbers. It does look like that number in Cass County has gone down. At one point it was over 7,000, but it has gone, actually it was over 7,000. It looks like it's kind of hovering around 5,000, but we do have still a good 5 to 10,000 power outages across the area as a result of today's storms. Now, coming up, I'll be talking about the thunderstorm possibilities for tonight, as I mentioned, as well as tomorrow night, how much rain we might see, and the various levels of severe risk that we'll be looking at. I'll show you the latest from SPC, and then we're going to settle into hot and dry, and we'll kind of touch on that as we more normal tonight, given the lack of severe weather right now across the area. In grain of salt time, we'll take you out a little bit farther and show you the prospects on temperatures here for the next couple of weeks. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away. If you just want to say hello, Todd, that's great too, as it's tradition to begin the festivities with our hellos, and of course we end things on normal nights with some levity. And let's see who's tuning in tonight. Hello there, Gary. Albert, after looking at the radar data, is probably straight line winds, would be my guess. Weather Service, so far no indication they're going to investigate, but my guess is that it was straight line winds just based on the look of the radar at the present time, as I did look at that data. Michelle, hello. Michelle, hello. 2 Michelles in a row. Lee. I appreciate that, Lee, and I will take a look at those. In case you're wondering, you send me those pictures. I can't show them on the air without sending you a form, having you sign it, and send it back. So it's, royal pain. So it's obviously something I don't have time to do like I used to. I really do miss that. Renee, hello. Bonnie, greetings. Gail, greetings. Betty, hey. Alexi and Nikisha and Eric, hello. Bonnie. It's that time of year, Bonnie. We got the stalled front northwesterly flow. We can't get rid of it until probably Friday. We'll talk about that in a second. Christopher, hello. Let's see. Brian, greetings. That was, you probably saw the hail reports in that neck of the woods there, Gail. Again, some impressive hailers here during the course of the last couple of days. Lewis brings up a good point. How much rain have we seen? And I was planning on showing that. Take a look at these. This is from the Shreveport radar, and they haven't reset it, so I'm not sure how far back this goes. But you can see these areas of purple. That's where we have over 6 to 8 inches of rain. Atlanta, a good almost 4. Falk over 4. Texarkana almost 4. DeKalb a little over 2. So you can see some rather impressive rainfall totals across the region here. And again, this is during the course of the last couple of days. Fortunately, it doesn't look like this part of the Arklatex is going to get as much tonight. And I'll go into that here in a second. Betty, you're kind of east of us. Let me get into that. Thanks, Calvin. I appreciate that. Lee says egg size for you. All right, let me get into, first of all, Betty asked about the risk. So I'm going to show you the latest from SPC as far as the risk here. And you can see that, I'm going to turn off all my clicks. The change here, this pretty much shows you the latest outlook. So we have seen a downgrade. It really does look like, based on the current radar, that the chances of severe weather will be highest in this area to the north and east of the Arctic. If you interpolate this further, central, southern Arkansas, southeast Arkansas into Mississippi is where the main path of the stronger storms likely will occur based on the current radar scenario that we have across the area. And since I had this up, I'm going to pause the radar, the loop here. This is the outlook for tomorrow and tomorrow night. Really, this is for tomorrow night for us. And SPC kind of zeroing in on the northern sections of the area for more thunderstorms tomorrow night. So let me get into it. I'm going to kind of go back to the radar here and show you what we have now and kind of discuss what we could be looking at as far as issues during the night. Put this into motion during the past hour, and you can see that we have seen, as I mentioned, most of the thunderstorms basically in this area. So these storms are tracking, and they'll probably continue to track in this general vicinity. So unless we see more development down here, which right now, to be honest with you, is looking doubtful. What we're going to have to watch for the rest of the Arctic are these storms right here. What has happened, try to draw here, what has happened is as they move west, they kind of fizzle out. So this storm is going to be quite curious to see what happens when it gets right in here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. If it's still there, then we'll probably see a little bit of a turn, and it does something like that. Same thing for these storms as they move more towards the east. It does look like if we're going to have any issues in our area, it probably will be over the southern half of the Arctic. So again, that's a huge if. So that's what we are looking at as far as the current trends in the radar. Again, right now we don't have any issues here in the Arctic. So let me move on here and show you. Lost my train of thought here. What was I going to show? Moving forward, let me get right into it with a look at the HRRR. Now, this is not the 0Z run. The 0Z run is still coming in. I would normally have it by now, but since it goes out farther, it takes longer to come in. Now, if we were in standard time, which is why I like what my old professor in college called God's time better, because I get data sooner, you can see what this showed at 8 o'clock, okay? That stuff's not there. So the HR is not initializing very well, but you can see the path of those storms. So I kind of pointed to this area. If those storms get going, they would probably move towards the southeast, and you can see the weakening trend that will occur after midnight. So if we don't see any storms, firing up here in the next 2 or 3 hours, a couple of hours actually, then that bodes well for avoiding the severe weather for tonight. And then during the day tomorrow, again, this will take us through the morning and I believe into almost the afternoon. Nothing really too much as far as rainfall for tomorrow. Here is the afternoon run of the same model, and you can see the differences here. It's fairly similar to what I just showed you, and you can see the weakening trend later tonight. Notice tomorrow we're pretty much dry, and then here comes tomorrow night. And the HR has been hinting at this since this morning, that we would see the storms move across, especially the northern half of the Arctic. And if this happens, wind and hail would be the main concern with the storms tomorrow night. So even though we may dodge a bullet tonight, we still have to worry about tomorrow night. I think what's really helping us tonight is the storms that we had today. They left behind an outflow boundary, which cooled us into the 70s, for example, here in Shreveport. That may have something to do with the lack of basically persistence in those storms so far as they made their way towards the east. We really didn't have enough time to recover this afternoon to allow, I think, the atmosphere to destabilize enough, at least in our neck of the woods. All right, so that's what the HR is showing. Let me switch this over to the latest run of Robin's Toyota FUTURECAST, and we'll kind of compare here. You can see our model does show some new development between Shreveport and Texarkana by about 10. And then again, kind of zeroing in on possible new storms further to the south and west. Looks dry tomorrow, very similar to the HRRR. That's not surprising. And notice heading into tomorrow evening, there are the storms over the northern sections of the area. In that slight risk that I showed you earlier, those will move out tomorrow night. And then we should be pretty much done as we go through Friday. We'll see the return of some sunshine. And some global models hinting Saturday night we might see an upper level disturbance bring another quick shot of some thunderstorms, but we'll see if that actually plays out as we get closer to the weekend. Again, the models I just showed you, they're not perfect. Just because the HR again shows again storms, I'm going to stop it here at 10 o'clock. Again, this is past and this is not here. All right, that says something. And you can see this is the outlook going from now to 2 o'clock, and it really depends on what happens here in the next couple of hours. And I will tell you that the beginning of the 0Z run, the newest run of the HR model, is not as ballistic as what you're seeing here. So I will show that on the air tonight at 9 on Fox as well as at 10 as soon as I get that data into my system. And the HR, as far as rainfall, this kind of shows you perhaps where the storms could be strongest tonight. Again, this is what's on the radar right now in that area that I pointed out. This likely is going to happen. This, we're kind of in wait and see mode to see if the storms actually do fire up. So there you go. That's what we're looking at in the short term here for the next couple of days. And just to kind of show you what FUTURECAST is indicating as far as hail, this is the hail prospects. Again, this would include the newest run. Not as white as we had earlier, so but we do have some white in there. So you can kind of see if we see the storms that are now off to the west of us, that is what would be worth watching. And again, points to the east of us. So we'll see. I feel good about tonight, to be honest with you right now, that we may avoid anything widespread for our area. All right, so let's see what we got here as far as other questions. I bet you did, Linda. Hopefully it didn't cause too many issues for you. I've been through that big, the baseball-sized hail before. It's not fun when you got to go put on the new roof and all that jazz. Betty, you're welcome. Albert wants his AC back on. Well, hopefully we avoid the storms tonight, Lee, and you'll get it on soon. Kaylee, I'm not as I mentioned, I feel good about tonight. I can't totally rule out severe weather, but based on current radar trends, and I'll take you back to the radar here, we're not seeing, again, this storm is one that I'm going to be watching closely. All these storms, actually, as they move further to the east. The trend here so far this evening is they have weakened as they approached this area here. So we'll see if that trend, if it does, I think we'll do well to avoid, minus any new development further to the east later on tonight. So there you go. Hello there, Sarah. Hopefully you're doing okay. All right, so that's the short-term aspect of things. I didn't show you the outlook from FUTURECAST on rainfall, and again, this might give us a sense on where it thinks the strongest storms will be. Again, this is probably tomorrow night's. All right, this kind of shows you where the issues could be tomorrow night, and this could be where the issues could be here late this evening and tonight. Sarah says rain and windy today, and Sarah, I'm going to get your numbers here in a second. Sorry I wasn't able to do that last night with our severe weather that we have. But anyway, Sarah watches, for those who don't normally watch my Facebook updates at each night, watches from Brooklyn, so I kind of fill her in on her weather. So let's go to longer range here and shift to the 10-day pattern. And you can see what's going to be happening. We're going to be watching this big ridge here. Sarah, you have that big upper level low, lucky you, which is probably keeping you nice and comfy. But that ridge is going to nudge itself northward. Now, the good thing about that, it's going to push that front that we've seen here northward as well. And it's going to, here comes the Saturday night disturbance that we could see bring us a quick shot. Once that clears, here comes the ridge up northward. Again, the GFS, again, one run it shows something, another run it shows something completely different. But the ridge, again, I don't have any rain in the outlook minus Saturday night. So the majority of models not showing any. This ridge is going to heat us up. Not as hot as was advertised last week, but still upper 90s more than likely is what we're looking at. In fact, let's take a look at the ensembles here, which take us out a couple weeks. And again, this is GFS ensembles. They did have to shave a degree or two off the highs because I thought they were a bit too high, but you can see the trend here, warmest early next week, upper 90s, close to 100. We may ease a bit late next week, but stay above normal, normal being low 90s here in the middle of June. Lows will probably kind of settle into the middle 70s. So that's what the GFS ensemble is showing. The European ensembles showing that we will see, again, something similar, warm up heading into the weekend. Notice the upper 90s early next week, and then we kind of settle into the middle 90s, which again is typical for July and early August. Lows, again, typical for the hottest part of the summer in the mid 70s, not surprising with that ridge close by. And again, not much as far as rain. Here's a look at the basically rainfall here for the next 10 days. It must be on the other page. There it goes. So you can see this is a look at the blend of models. Instead of showing you, big differing swaths from the different viewpoints of all the models, this is if you blend all that together. And much of this is tonight and tomorrow night. So once we get past tomorrow night, we will likely not see much as far as rainfall across our area. So there you go, less than an inch the way it looks right now. All total, according to the model blend, for rainfall here in the Arklatex, which would be a bit below normal for this time of year. That ridge better. Here, Alexa, I want the ridge here. I told Josh, bring on the death ridge. This, severe thunderstorm watch every night with baseball-sized hail somewhere in the Arklatex is getting a bit old. So let's bring on the ridge. And then next week we complain about it being so hot. And Christopher, that's one reason why I'm not buying the triple digits just yet. We still have a lot of water in the ground. Now, after we get past next week with no rain, and we have that ridge, then we're going to start to see those temperatures creep up because more of the sun's energy will go to heating the ground instead of evaporating that water. So that's why 2011 was so hot. We didn't have any water in the ground, so the sun was much more efficient at heating the ground and heating the air. All right, so wish all the rain for, let's see. Santa's here. We saw the number of low trying to form and dive down into the Arklatex the next 7. No, not going to happen, Chris. That ridge is going to be too close. Now, what that will do, that northerly flow is also going to keep us dry, so relatively speaking. So depending on how far west, again, that trough tries to form. So we'll see how that plays out. Sarah, let me look at your numbers since you've been waiting, if you're still here. And I thought I had those already set up, but I guess I didn't. Not a problem. Takes me a couple clicks to get there. I'm just about there already. And so, Sarah, for your numbers, it looks like you are going to be, let's see, let's do rainfall first. Looks like a rain Friday and Saturday, and then Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So rainy in the next week, a couple of inches of rain, Sarah, on the way. And then next weekend, some more rain, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. All total in the next couple of weeks, 3 to 4.5 inches of rain, I would say, possible for you. Sarah, as far as your temperatures, 70s, could hit 80 Sunday, 70s through next Thursday, then you warm up probably into the mid to upper 80s towards the end of June. So there you go, Sarah. That's what you're looking at in your neck of the woods. See if I've got any other questions. I think I've got them all. So let's move on to the forecast here and show you what we are going to be looking at. And click. And here we go. Here's a look at your forecast for tonight. We will see temperatures ease into the mid to upper 60s over the north, 68 degrees in Texarkana, 68 in Atlanta. Further south, a little bit warmer with lows mainly in the low 70s, 72 in Shreveport, 72 also for the nighttime low tonight in Natchitoches. Again, any storms that do try to develop will end after midnight tonight. Again, we do have severe thunderstorm watches for all of the Arctics right now, but still nothing coming even close to becoming severe in our area here during the past couple of hours, and we're keeping an eye on those storms west of us. What they do will play a big role on just how much severe weather we get tonight, if we get any. And then tomorrow, looking dry during the day, we will see more sun. As a result, it will be hot and a bit humid. 92 in Texarkana, 94 in Shreveport, 95 in Natchitoches, 94 in Carthage, and 92 degrees for the daytime high tomorrow in Atlanta. Here's a look at your 10-day forecast. And again, kind of pessimistic on that trough building as far south and west as you saw there in the longer range outlook. That's just one model. Other models showing us dry. Highs mainly in the upper 90s next week. Lows mainly in the middle 70s. You don't see any numbers here because Saturday night we could be looking at another chance for maybe a few thunderstorms. And again, tomorrow night looks like overnight stuff, which has been common here recently, is what we're going to be looking at if we see anything as far as rainfall across the area. One final check on the radar before I sign off here, and you can see this storm. Hey, look at that. See it starting to weaken. Let's see if that continues. And so far, no more development. So that's a good sign. That may be our first signal there, the storm weakening, that we may be okay as far as avoiding severe weather tonight. Not out of the woods yet. I get through the next 2 or 3, 4 hours. And then after that, if we don't see anything, we're definitely done. So final look at your comments, and then we'll sign off. Let's see. Chris and Bonnie want the dad joke tonight. Norm's, yeah. Norm, he knows. Zeros, there's no reason for me to ask it. You know, zeros across the board for Norm there in Palm Springs, and probably 110 with that ridge close by. All right, dad joke for the night. Here we go. And I think I'm ready. Click on my software window. So when I was a kid, my teachers told me that I wouldn't amount to anything since I procrastinate too much. I told them, just you wait. Thank you very much. Well, that will do it for me tonight. And again, all fingers crossed that the trends that we've seen so far this evening continue and we avoid any more hail and wind issues. Of course, a lot of you are already dealing with the impacts of the storms that we've had here during the last couple of days. So we'll probably get through tonight okay, and then tomorrow night another round possible. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow night with another live update to fill you in the latest on that possible round of thunderstorms across the area. Pleasure chatting with you tonight. Again, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to watch tonight at 9. I will show the latest run of the HR then, as well as at 10 on NBC6. So probably another run after that will be available. So again, we'll see you on the air tonight at 9 and 10. So again, talk to you again tomorrow night. Until then, have a great night. And if you do encounter those thunderstorms, stay safe. Good night.